Good morning, Essential Stencil friends. This is Grace here from The Comfy Nest with Grace. I'm so happy to welcome you here this morning, this fine Thursday morning. It's very cold here, but it's very bright here in North Dakota. But I welcome you all. We're going to do a fun tag project with these new big door tags. I love the big opening here for getting your big, wide, beautiful ribbons in there. We're going to create something pretty with this and some of the new spring designs. And so I welcome you on over here at the Essential Stencil page. So if you're new to Essential Stencil, please make sure that you say hello. Essential Stencil will give away 3 sets of stencils to live viewers this morning. So stay tuned. Make sure that you say hello because that's where they're going to pull the names from is the comments. So let's chit chat in the comments. Be sure to participate. And if you're catching the replay, Essential Stencil will also choose a replay watcher within the next 24 hours to win a set. So make sure that you let us know that you're here. There's Brenda saying hello. She got her spring pack yesterday. Whoop, whoop, yay. That is so exciting. Time to get crafty. Time to get doing some stuff. So what have you guys been creating? What are some of your most recent stencil projects that you've been doing? We would love to know that too. That's another good little chat topic for the comments there. I'm going to grab the feed here on my iPad so that I can make sure that I can see the comments while I'm creating so that we can keep chatting. So just give me a second here to grab this up. There it is. Boy, that didn't take long. Thank you, Facebook, for that little ease this morning. Hello, Carolyn, and there's Wendy. Wendy wants the flowers. Good morning, Wendy Perry. There's Kathy from Southern Ohio, and Diana's here. These are all my text BFFs. Oh, Shaylin, I'm sorry you're sick, my love. Hope you're feeling better soon and that it's a quick recovery. Hey, Nancy, good morning from cold Minnesota. You're my neighbor. It's cold here, too. I think the high is was it -1 today with a low of -26 for temperature? But it is brighter. I'm happy to have a little bit of sunshine. Hey, Teresa, text BFF. Whoop, whoop. She's on the texting service. Now, these girls who are saying text BFF, like Teresa, they're on my texting service. So they get a text message when I go live. But do all the things. Get on all the lists, the email. Change your notifications so that you get notifications here on the Essential Stencil page. Like I said, get on their email. They send an awesome email out every Sunday that tells you the schedule for the week for the live brand ambassador demonstration. So make sure you get on there. Brenda's here from chilly Minnesota. Hey, in North Carolina, Miss Susan. I love saying hello to all you folks. It's cold and sleet here in southeast Indiana. Well, Carolyn, stay safe and stay warm, my friend. Yeah, great crowd this morning. Hey, Deborah Garnett and Judy's here. Okay, so I'm going to use this. I'm so excited. I'm going to use this this beauty. This beauty, you get 3 stencils in this set, and their size is 12 by 12. But even though it's like, you know, if you kind of like open your mind a little and think outside of the box, this is the box, right? You can fit this on a 12 by 12 framed piece. You could fit it in a 12 by 12 on a piece of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. You could fit this on a 12 by 12 canvas. You sometimes you can find those wood panels that have the frame on them. This would fit in there. But instead of using the 12 by 12, we're gonna fit this onto the tag, which you can see is much more narrow. So we're gonna fit one of these designs. I'm actually gonna use this one, but first pray on the tag. But this set comes with Bloom with Grace, and I think if I remember right, I don't might not have the timing right, but didn't Sharon from Irish Store Stuff use this one this week too? So you would have 2 demonstrations, 2 different project ideas with this set. Let me grab the other one out. This is the other one that you get. Count your blessings. Aren't they pretty? The name of this set, if you're looking to go out and get it, if you're so inspired, it's called Bloom with Grace. That's the name of the set, Bloom with Grace. Hey, that's my name. That's so exciting. Okay, Bloom with Grace. Come on over and bloom with me. We are going to be creating, like I said, on the door tag. Let me get this put away. Well, I won't fight with that. You know when that happens, you're trying to slide this in and your stuff gets stuck. You know what I do, you guys? Tip number 1, I've been an Essential Stencil ambassador for years. Tip number 1, here's your little sticky strip right here. I fold this onto itself and it stays. That way you can slip this in there and it's not gonna stick for you. It's not gonna stick. So if you fold it onto itself, the plastic packaging, you'll be able to slip that in. It's not gonna stick on anything. And then you can unfold it and it will still be sticky so that you can close your packaging. So there's tip number 1. That drives me bananas when that happens. And then I realize I'm just rushing. If I just take that quick second to fold that down, that little flap with the sticky, if you fold it down, then nothing will get stuck and you can slide things in really easily. Thanks for sprinkling, Miss Charlotte. You're the best. Thank you, thank you. Hey, Donna's saying, hey ladies, fairly new to Essential Stencil, waiting on some spring stencils I pre-ordered. Yay, Donna! So exciting. Welcome, welcome. We're happy to have you. Susan's here from Florida. Oh gosh, Jennifer, she says I need to get those large tags. Are you kidding me with these? And look at the wood grain. I mean, they're pine, just like the mini tags. They're pine and the wood grain is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So this is what we're gonna create on. So here's my plan. I'm gonna color block this, but first I'm gonna stain it. I wonder if you're better off with that light out. Let's get this down so you can see the project. I'm gonna stain this first. I'm just gonna use brown paint, you guys. We're going really simple here. Let me make some room so you can see. I know that's a mess, but it's all dry. This is just brown paint from Apple Barrel. I'm gonna stick some of it here in the middle. I got air bubbles coming, and then I'm gonna water that down just a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to that. And it's probably easiest if I get like a little squeegee to mix that with. Oh, here, I've got this one right here. So I'm gonna mix that just to get that watered down so it spreads really easily. Because I wanna stain. I don't wanna paint it. I wanna stain it brown so that it's a really thin, almost like a wash. This is just one way to do it. And I'm gonna use a Huggies wipe to stain. I know this sounds counterintuitive, or it sounds a little awkward if you've never done this before, but I assure you it's quite easy to do. But I did put my apron on, my beautiful Essential Stencil apron. I gotta get that on because I don't wanna get anything on my pretty little pastel shirt here. Thanks, Brenda. I'm gonna use my first set of stencils today. Thank you for introducing me. No problem, my friend Gia. Beautiful Gia. Kathy got her bundle yesterday. Yay! Hey, in Arizona, Miss Dorothy. Carolyn says, good tip. I'm so glad. Barbara, it's your first live. Welcome. My name is Grace. Just to introduce you, my name is Grace from The Comfy Nest with Grace. I'd be honored if you come over to my page and follow too, but make sure that you're following Essential Stencil so you don't miss out on any of the good stuff that happens over here. Okay, all that brown paint that's kind of watered down, do you see what it's gonna do? It's just gonna darken up this pine a little bit. See what I'm doing? We're just darkening it up with some paint. And I'm going to color block this. I've been kind of into the color blocking lately. Is anybody else a fan of color blocking? Or am I the only one? Lately, I've been really loving it. I just think it's such a striking, pretty way to make things. I went through all that paint, so we're gonna add some more here. Again, same thing. Spritz of distilled water. Little squeegee tool to mix that up and get it like a little bit more watery so it spreads more easily. I don't want thick paint coverage. I want a wash or a stain. So I call it a stain, but I'm really doing it with paint. It's not a stain product. I'm just kind of using the paint to stain the wood. Whoops, see, that was really thick. So we're gonna come in here and spread it all out. And I'm gonna paint this bottom side of it. Actually, this is gonna get painted down here. I want this brown to show through underneath the paint. See what I'm doing here? And you guys, for me, normally, this is just personal choice. I don't normally do my sides. This is just personal choice. I normally leave my sides natural. And the back is going to stay. Now you could definitely double side this, but I'm going to leave my back the same. I'm going to make this part up here a little darker up in here. I want this a little bit darker. So we're going to come in and add a little more. So the nice thing about using an acrylic paint to try to stain your wood is that it doesn't need any dry or cure. I mean, it needs to dry, but it doesn't need any cure time before you go in with the next part of this process. You can just leave it, you know, and let it dry. See how much darker that top part is than the bottom? I actually really like the dark, and I'm going to distress the edges, and I want that brown to show up on the edges. So I'm going to hit the edges here, coming down a little bit more. Because like I said, I'm going to paint the bottom. So I want these edges to be even darker than this middle part. Okay, that's it. That's all we need to do here. But that would be, just that alone would be actually quite a pretty backdrop. But I'm going to paint over part of this. Not the whole thing, but part of it. That's going in the garbage so I don't get any more on me. Acrylic paint used to stain is way more friendly for cleanup too. It's just easier to clean up. Someone said, hi from Snowy. School is closed in Kansas, Melinda says. Welcome, Melinda. First time watching. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Essential Stencil. Welcome. Make sure you comment. Yes, Mary, you're a good encourager. Debbie bought these tags yesterday. Well, fun. I'm so glad to show you something to do with them. Hey there, Sherry and Diane from Texas. And Deborah Adams is here. And Tanya from Snowy, Arkansas. I know, I'm loving these big tags too. Thank you to all of those of you who are sharing or sprinkling or spreading the blessings. Hey, Nicole, text BFF. Hey. Hey, friends. There's Diana Garnett in Alabama. I don't, Lynn. I usually skip my sides. I don't usually do them. I don't. In this back side, we could double side it. So I'm just going to leave it plain because I don't know if I were to double side it, what would I do on it? I don't know. But what I really want to do, remember, we're using this 12 by 12 on here. And I want to fit it. I actually want to design it so the butt first comes up here. And then I'm going to put pray this way. So I need to just do a quick note for myself. So what I did, I'm going to stand up so I can see this. I'm using my board that has the grid marks on it. These self-healing cutting mats are great for that. I'm going to line up this board on one of these lines so that I make sure that I'm straight. And I'll do it down low here so you can see it in frame. So that makes sure if I line up my board on the lines, the grid lines on the table, then I'm going to come here. I know this is going to be here. So that means at about this point, I'm going to color block this. I'm going to paint the bottom part white and leave the top part wood. So I want to color block it. So I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to make a mark for myself, this line that's right here on my cutting mat. If I line my ruler up right there, that'll give me plenty of space for my word pray. So it's this line right here. So this is already placed on the table. I'm going to put this ruler on this line because I can visually see. Then I'm going to take just a pencil. This is a chalk pencil, so it'll blend and go away easily. I'm just going to make a mark for myself. That's where my color block line is going to be. So it's a nice light line, but now I can paint and be confident that I have enough space for the word pray down here, and that butt first is going to go up there. Does it make sense? If you have questions, let me know. Okay, we're on to the painting part. And then we'll get stenciling. We're actually going to use, yeah, these are great tips. Rhonda says if aligning is troublesome sometimes, that's a great tip. It really is. Patricia says, I need to give stenciling a try. So many cute stencils. There really are. There really are. Jana loves the tips. Thank you, Jana. My text BFF. Okay, this paint is very, very thick. I don't even know. Like, we're going to try to get some of this out of here. It is very thick, but this is the paint. I should really you guys. Why do I suffer? Why do I force myself? Look at how thick and chunky. This is so old. I've added distilled water to it. I'm going to put that one aside. Let's grab a different white. Let's just grab a different color so we're not struggling. This one has been doing very well for me. It's just a white chalk paint. But this one is nice and smooth, even though it's almost gone. It's nice and smooth. Thanks, Deb. She says, love your ideas. Well, I love having you here to share them. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for being present. Thanks for participating. All right, this one, even though it's almost gone, it's just like really smooth and it's got a really good consistency. How easy that's going to be to paint on there. So I want this white. Now, I am purposefully not doing my edges. So when I come to my edge and I'm painting, I'm going to try to go off the edge. I don't want to go back because I don't want to catch any paint on that lip, on that edge. So when I get to the edges, I feather very lightly from the inside out. This is just personal choice. Most people, whoa, look what I did. Most people that I see, I don't let anything bother me, you guys. I just roll with it. Most people that I see do their edges. I just don't know why. It's just not important to me. Look at that, wiped right off. Easy breezy, lemon squeezy with my little huggy wipe. No problem. I'm going to sand the edges anyway, so any of that residual, we'll get rid of it. But I do go through, because I'm so messy, I go through a lot of these. I probably go through as many of these now as I did when both my boys were in diapers. Still buying the diapers, the diaper wipes, I should say. All right, here we go. I'm trying to get the bulk of the bottom done, and then I'll focus on that line up there. And I may even get a different paintbrush so I have a little more control up top. So we're just giving it a good paint. Paint over with the brown underneath so it all coordinates, and I'm going to distress a little bit up here. I'm going to distress the paint so that the edges show a little bit of the brown, a little bit of the pine wood. Why do I find this kind of detail work so relaxing? I don't know why. But this paint is so much thinner in its consistency, its viscosity, it's thinner. So it makes it a lot easier for me to spread it. If you end up with old paints like that other bottle I showed you that are really thick, add distilled water to it and mix, mix, mix. I have a little mixer. I don't know what that is. It's like a paintbrush bristle. I think I see a paintbrush bristle, but I think now it's gone. Where did it go? I don't know, but it's not there anymore. Is that it right there? It is. Hold on, girls. There's a paintbrush bristle in my paint, and I don't want that showing up. You could always sand that off afterwards, but sometimes it gets so embedded in your paint that it's hard to even get off. Okay, so what I started to say is if you have those old jars of paint that are just giving you trouble, like they're really hard to mix and move around, add some distilled water and mix it. I bought a mixer on Amazon for my paints, for my Mod Podge, for all the thick things that I add water to, because it's just easier to use a little, it's a battery operated mixer so that I don't have to worry about the bottom, like not getting everything on the bottom when I shake the bottle. Okay, I'm at the line here and I need to go a little higher up. So I'm gonna grab a different paintbrush that has more of, you know, a little easier control with that line. So I'm gonna grab some new paint. It's easier if you have lots of fresh paint on your bristles when you go in, and you could use painter's tape. If you know me, you know that's not my jam. I'm not that precise, clearly. It's just not me. It takes all the fun out of it for me if I have to be like so precise that I need painter's tape, so I don't do it. I just won't go there. I don't want it taking any of the fun out of it. I have my little pencil line, and if this is close, it's good enough for me. I have a little excess right there, so I'm going to take a square brush and I'm going to try to get that excess off. That's just a clean brush, and now I have a little bit of water on there, so I'm going to dilute that a little bit so I can get off that excess, like that little mistake that I made right there. So I'm just this little wet brush, I'm just straightening that line, and then I'm taking that excess paint, and I have a little rag off here to the side that I'm offloading it on. That's it. Okay, now that that's done, I'm gonna dry this, and then I can see some of the paint is more, it may be thicker in some areas than others, but this is starting to dry already. So let's take the air to it, dry it completely, and then we can work on making any adjustments. Jody, I'm glad you found that to be a good tip. You have to use tape. Tanya, I don't think it's as much about skill as it is about letting go of the idea that it has to be perfect. Just like let it go, friend. Let it go. I still have a little more paint right there. It's like a bubble. It almost is like a little chunk of paint. Just let it go. It does not, your lines, nobody is testing you for precision. Nobody is looking at your projects up on the wall or on your front door, on your porch hanging there. They're not looking at it at that same level of precision that you are. I promise you. I promise you. And it's handmade. So we know it's not coming off of a factory warehouse, you know, assembly line. A machine didn't do it. You did, Tanya. And I'm sure it's perfectly beautiful just the way you do it. It's still wet. We got to give it some time. Kathy, you can check on the Essential Stencil website. Generally, I thought that these were connected to Stencil of the Month Club. At one time, they were giving these away with a certain level of membership. But maybe Essential Stencil, in the comments, you could answer that question about the aprons. Yeah, I got my mixer on Amazon. Yeah, it's in my Amazon store. So get to my Amazon store and you'll find it there. Let it go, love. Pam, I love that comment. Becky ordered this set for sure, so she can't wait to see this. Yay! There we go. It's pretty well dry. Oh, this thick part right there where I was fixing, that's not dry, but I smudged it. I smudged it. Touching it, I was trying to see if it was all dry, and I got a little smudge right there. So we're just going to fix her up before we keep dry. I don't want to keep drying it if I get a little smudge. We're going to get rid of the smudge, the little smear that I just created, and then we'll keep drying. Oh, well, Becky said she ordered this set. Has anybody else ordered this particular set? It is called Bloom with Grace. It's a set of 3 12x12s. How many people ordered it, or who's going to order it? Listen, and if you order it, friend, if you order it, please use my code, THECOMFYNEST, to get your discount. It not only helps you, but it helps me too, so I really appreciate that. I'd be really open about that and tell you that. I so appreciate your support. Carol says that Essential Stencil now sells, they're now selling the apron. So if you just go on the website, you'll find it. Use my code, THECOMFYNEST. Vicky, anyone else singing the song to Frozen? Amazon, Connie, get to my Amazon store. There's a section called Craft Supplies You'll Love. Yep, friend, I'll hook you up with all the things. My chair is even in there. I love my chair. Everybody always comments on my chair. My little bucket, it's like a saddle seat chair, and I love it. I love it, I love it. It rolls really well. It's very comfortable for crafting. That's even in my Amazon store. Listen, girls, I live in a very rural state. North Dakota is a pretty rural state, and I live right in the middle. It's about 90 miles for me to get to any of the big stores. We do have a Walmart, and we have an Ace Hardware. What else do we have that you guys might recognize the name, meaning like national chains? But like, we don't have a Home Depot or a Lowe's. We don't have Hobby Lobby where I live. There's no Michael's, there's no Joann's. Any of those major stores, I have to go 90 miles to get to them. So I do a lot of Amazon sourcing. So it is what it is. It's just the way, I grew up in Boston with everything at my fingertips, literally. And now I live here. So I've learned to take advantage of all the online shopping options. Okay, that's what we got so far. Pretty, right? I'm going to show you real close. This line is not perfect. From far away, it looks just fine. If I come up really close, it's not perfect, you guys. It's not, but it's okay. Don't overthink it, dear. Don't overthink it and don't talk yourself out of it. She's loving this set. Let's sand this just a little bit. I'm just going to sand down the edges a little. I want to soften it up. I'm going to sand the edges. I want to soften up this paint. And chalk paints and mineral paints are really good for this kind of project because they're really easy to sand. Acrylic paints are too. I just think that chalk paints and mineral paints, they do sand differently. I think that I don't know why, it's just the makeup of what they are, but they lend themselves to sanding and distress more. So if you really love distress, you might try a chalk or a mineral-based paint. Now I'm coming on the top, and remember I said I could see a few little brush strokes. Now what on earth is that? A little green something or other in my paint. It must have come from here. You could see a couple of brush strokes with this paint, and I got this at a local furniture store. Our local furniture store had it, but I know like our Menards, that's may not be national, but it's regional at the very least. Menards is like a Home Depot or a Lowe's. They have this Rust-Oleum chalked. I like this paint. I don't love that it comes in these huge vats. Like I wish that they were smaller containers, but the only ones I've ever seen are the big ones. But I do like the usability of the paint. So I'm very lightly sanding. This is going to smooth out my chalk paint. Any of the brush bristles are going to kind of go away. I don't have to worry about up here. I'm just worried about, not worried, but I'm just concentrating on this lower side where the white paint is. I want this wood to show through a little bit on the edges. And I don't even mind if it shows through in the main body of it too. But see how powdery it is? Now I've showed you before that you can finger distress, wet distress with a rag. But today I really wanted to smooth out those paint bristles. But look at all that white powder now. I'm gonna put this aside so I can clean this up. I have shop towels right here. So I'm gonna grab one of these shop towels and I'm first gonna dust this off because look at all the excess. It's all dust and you wanna get that off of there. But it does give a really smooth finish to your project. Now the paint is like butter. I feel this surface is really smooth and soft. Okay, this is also the time where if I went over the edge at all with my paints, my paint color, I could come in and just sand that off quick. I really don't have a lot of that. That was the only spot. So we're good there. Now all of this, I want to get this off of here. So I'm going to get all of this out of here. So first I'm going to get rid of the bulk of the powder, and then I'll use a wet rag and I'll get rid of the rest of it. Right in the garbage it goes. Most of it's gone. So I'm just going to spray this and get, this is just water. There's no chemical in that, not that it matters, but I just want to get rid of the dust from the powder. So we get that up, and then here, a little bit of that powder got on the brown part of this, so I'm just going to use a little bit of that water and wipe that powder off. Just a little bit. It's barely damp. Barely damp. There we go. So we're going for rustic. We're going for a little distress. I'll show you my sanding job here. So you can see a little bit of that wood coming through. It's not overly, I mean, you can get really distressed. You can keep sanding and sanding until you get further down. Let me show you quick, like wet distressing. If I just took this wet Huggy in this section right here, if I took that wet Huggy and I come in with something wet, doesn't even have to be a Huggy wipe. It can just be like a wet rag or towel. And I come in and you're basically rubbing off the chalk paint. So I can get more of that wood coming through. So you don't have to use a sanding block. I wanted the sanding block for this because my paint, I had some paint strokes in there that I wanted to get rid of. But look, see how I can get some of that wood coming through? Right there. And you just keep doing it to your, like, your desired effect. And you can do that. You don't have to go just to, you can go in both directions. You can just go in one direction, totally up to you. But if we apply some pressure with something wet, even just a rag with water, you will eventually, if you keep rubbing in the same area, you're eventually going to get down to the next level. So for me, it's that brown stained color that I put on there. So we're just gonna, I love this. I used to do this with furniture all the time. I used to be a furniture painter. I mean, I used to paint furniture all the time. Like, that was what I did. Now I don't do that anymore. I kind of focus on small projects. So see, this, I'm going really subtle here, but you could make that super, super distressed. Like, you can keep rubbing that down so that it's really, really distressed. But I'm just doing it very lightly. Meaning I don't want a ton of that showing through. I want the white there. See? Maybe I just kind of need something up in this area. Just peek something through in here. I have to get to a new spot because eventually it's going to kind of dry out on you. There we go. All right. Sanding block or a wet rag. Wet rag, wet shop towel, just something that you can rub continuously so it doesn't break down on you. And that was just a huggy wipe. Good, Donna. She says, I love it, all the tips I'm learning. Well, come on over to the Comfy Nest when you get a chance, Donna, because this is my passion, is sharing and inspiring you guys to do more with the supplies that you have. Okay, let's get stenciling. So this is going to go here, the prey, but first it's going to go up here, and I'm going to use the white, and I'm going to use the brown. Same colors. We're just going to do opposites. So the top part's going to get the white on it, and the bottom part will get the brown. Now, I don't usually tape, but I think I'm going to do it today. I think I am going to tape this down today. I don't normally do that. If you guys know me or watch me at all, I normally just hold it down. But tape is a good idea if you're feeling like, oh, I need a little help. Now, remember, I watered down that paint, so I don't want to use that. It's too wet. And I want to avoid, oh, that's the wrong color anyway. When you're stenciling, you don't want to use the same paint that you used for your staining because we wet it down. And that's the wrong color anyway. I need to do the white first. So I'm going to grab my white. I'm going to grab some with my Essential Stencil brush. And I'm going to bring it over here. And I'm going to like really get all of it out of my bristles. And then there really should be very, very little paint. Like, see how that's dry? It looks dry. There's nothing drippy. No pools of paint on your brush. That's what you're looking for when you go in to stencil. You want it to be really dry, your brush. And you can either, I stipple a lot, but you can also do the little circles. I know Sharon does little circles. I think Amanda does little circles most of the time too, like the little, but I do like stippling. I think that when you stipple, it gives it like a textured look, which I really like. Because then if you think about it, even with just such a little amount of paint, it still has peaks and valleys to it. I'm going to go over my B because I don't want smooth. I like it textured. I like it stippled. Okay, I almost went in my brown. That would have been bad. I would have had to clean my brush. And Essential Stencil brushes, they hold up really well. They have nice, stiff bristles as opposed to soft bristles. So I get really good pouncing. Like it pushes, I push down firmly to get that into the stencil, the paint into the stencil and through it. But I always, when I add more paint, I always offload it so that my bristles aren't wet. They've got paint, but they're not like drippy wet. And this is just a matter of preference. I mean, I've been stenciling for years. Depending on the project, depending on the paint, depending on my mood. Almost always I use the Essential Stencil brushes. I used to be a makeup wedge user, but I prefer the brushes now. and it took me a little while to get used to that, but I really do prefer them now. You get a set of 4. They're beautiful. They have this gorgeous handle that's really smooth and soft, and it's short. I like short handles because then I feel like I can hold it easier. And they hold up really, really well. So again, when you can get the tags from Essential Stencil, you can get the apron from Essential Stencil, you can get the brushes from Essential Stencil, and be sure to use an ambassador's code. My code is THECOMFYNEST to make sure that you get your discount. Okay, I want to hinge this up and just take a peek and make sure that the coverage is what I want it. So I'm going to hinge this, meaning this is going to stay firmly in place, and I'm going to pull this up, and it's perfect. I'm just looking at each letter to make sure that I have full coverage. Just my B right here, I just want to make that a little bit more opaque. So I'm going to come in the edge of my B here. Remember, that's where I was first swirling, and it just does not give the same, to me, it looks different. I don't want swirls, I want the pouncing method. Maybe right here. All right, perfect. I'll pull that up and I'll show you my little paint job, and then we'll move on to the brown part. You guys, that's cute. It fits so perfectly on the tag, you guys. It fits so perfectly. And you could probably, I mean, I included the comma, but when we're doing home decor, we're not looking for grammatically correct, right? We're just trying to get the idea of the design there. Okay, now that that's done, we can move on to this part. I still am getting a little bit of that chalk up, so let me grab another shop towel and just, I want to get that powder off. I don't want excess powder. Okay, now this one is going to go this way, the prey part. You guys like that? Isn't that cute? So cute. We're not done. We're going to use some of the rub-ons today too. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to grab a different paintbrush because this one has the white in it. So I'm going to put that aside. We're going to get this in place where we want it. Nice. And one of the nice features that I like about Essential Stencils is even though they're nice and thick, so they're easy to clean with, they're easy to work with, they're not so fragile that they're difficult to clean. These are definitely reusables because they're really nice and thick. But they're not so thick that you can't see through them. I can still see. So when I place this down, I can still see the edges of my surface. You can too on camera. You can still see them, so it makes it really easy. Your placement is really easy. It's really easy because you can see exactly what you're doing. I want to center it. It's got to come up a little this way so I don't lose the end of my Y. But I'm going to center this exactly in the middle. Now, the only place that I can tape is up here where I just painted. It's the only place. So I'm going to do it. And hope that it's dry enough, cured enough that that's not going to be a problem. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to do the brown. This R is kind of close to the other word, so I am going to add just a little bit of painter's tape to protect so I don't get those letters in my design. So we're just going to go in with that. Cindy's loving the big tags. I think a lot of us are really loving them. Now we have the large tags, yep. Yes, Margaret, wait till you see what I'm going to do with the rub-ons, dear. It's a little bit different what I'm going to do. So hang tight, make sure you stay tuned. I'm just trying to get my stuff organized over here. My other Essential Stencil brush. Oh gosh, did I clean it? Did I clean it and not put it back where it belongs? Oh, here it is. This is one of the smaller ones, but it'll work. It's one of the smaller ones. I'm going to grab the brown. Now, I'm running out of space on this thing, to be truthful. Let me grab a piece of wax paper for my brown paint, and I'm just going to double this up. The wax paper will not last forever. I mean, it will seep through eventually if you just keep using it and using it. So we're going to use that for the brown. New paint. Remember, I'm not using that watered down paint because when you stencil, you definitely want thicker paint. Thin paint is not your friend when you stencil. Here's my paint store. That's what I call it. So I'm going to go to get more paint, get more store supplies. I call this the land of offload. you're gonna put your paint on there, but then I want you to offload, and I want you to do in little round circles with your Essential Stencil brush until that paint moves up and into those bristles, so that when you come over here, it's gonna come off your brush easily and without bleed through. I'm doing a dark color on a light color. So my paint, depending on how thick it is, so that's the viscosity, depending on the brand, depending on how old it is, depending on the color, the amount of paint that deposits down onto your project, we're going in with a very decidedly, very and purposefully very dry brush. So I may want to come back in and reinforce that. By the time I get to the Y, the P will be dry, and if I need to get a little more paint on there, I'll just do the whole process over again. So it's much better, I need to offload more. It's much better to do 2 very light coats than it is to come in with 1 really heavy, thick coat. The coverage is not great, it's not perfect, but I'll go in and do another coat. The first coat is not going to look complete. Okay, so just remember that. The first coat is not going to look complete. You're going to have to go back and probably do a second coat. And all of this comes with feel. It all comes with practice and time. If you've bought your tags and you're a first timer and you don't want to go straight in on your tag, I would suggest open up an empty cereal box and use the inside part of that cardboard to practice, or your pizza boxes, your frozen pizza boxes, your shipments that you're getting from Amazon. Save those cardboard boxes and stencil on those just to practice with the paints, the different applicators, whether you want a makeup wedge or you're going to use a brush or any other kind of, you know, there are those little round daubers that you can buy, those foam daubers. I am not a fan of those. I've never liked those, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to become your favorite. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it's not good. It just means I don't really like working with them. So I think it's a very personal experience, and the only way you're going to get to know your best tool, your best way of doing it, your favorite paint, is for you to use what you have. Start using it. And if you're afraid to go in on your fancy surfaces, like your beautiful tags, then use that cardboard suggestion. Save the next cardboard box that you get in the mail, or cereal box or cracker box, and open it up and use that to practice. It will hold up very well for stenciling. In fact, I'm going to use a mailer today on this project. You wait and see. You wait and see. I'm like the queen of reuse. If you can reuse it, you should reuse it. That's my thought. So I'm debating a little bit. I am definitely adding some of the rub-on transfer because I really love working with them, number one. They're gorgeous, you guys. The color schemes on those, we're used to seeing from Essential Stencil these clear stencils, and you have to fill in with your own mind's eye the colors that you like. Well, having the new transfer, the rub-ons, it's such an exciting thing because the colors are done for you and they're beautiful, you guys. They're so beautiful. All right, I'm coming in. I'm going to do some more layering over here to get this a little bit darker. Second coat is always easier than the first one because you don't need as much paint. It's always easier. But I keep adjusting because I can tell when I first come in, I can tell either I have too much or I don't have enough paint. I can tell right away, but it's because I've been doing it for years, you guys, and you will eventually get there where you feel that confident. But you won't feel confident until you try it. You just won't. You have to just keep doing it. Just have to do it. Jump in and have some fun with it. Hello from Plant City, Florida, Miss Debbie. Hello, hello. Jody says she loves the wood tags. I'm seeing so many of those comments. Love the wood tags, love the wood tags. Well, stock up on them. Use my code THECOMFYNEST to get your discount and stock up and buy several sets. And then just stow them away in a closet. And anytime you need to make a quick gift for somebody, or you want to make a quick gift for somebody, like they're sick in the hospital or they're sick at home and they're just like stuck at home for a while. So we have had a lot of snow days lately, but there's been a lot of like stomach bug going around where we are and people staying at home for that. You could drop off a little door tag on their front door to let them know your favorite neighbor or grandma or your best friend from across town. You can sneak by with some grocery supplies or the tag and just drop it on their front door and say, I left you a little goodie on your front door. What a sweet little gift. Handmade, of course, and then they can hang it and it will remind them of you. All right, I'm liking it. I'm gonna hinge it up to look. I'm gonna hinge it up and see if my coverage is good. I'm debating about this little, there's a little sprig of greenery right there. Yeah, I'm gonna do the sprig. I was debating, but I'm gonna do it because it looks really blank if I don't. So let's get that on there. And then I'm gonna use, I'm super visual person, you guys. So I need to see it before I decide. I'm going to do it all the same color, so it's very monochromatic, and then we're going to use the transfer. We're going to use the transfer up here, and then we'll have the pretty ribbon hanger, so that will be adding some lovely color to the top of it, but I'm going to leave the base of it pretty monochromatic. It's such a funny little sound, this pouncing. Oh no, I definitely need to do a little more there. It's easier, I think, when the colors are very contrasting. You know, I have white and dark, I have the white, which is obviously very bright, and then I have the dark brown. So it's easier to see. Yes, yes, yes. When you need, right here, I just have this little spot right there that needs reinforced. And then my Y right here. So this is why I like to hinge it. I don't pull it up completely because then you're going to struggle to put it back down exactly where it needs to be. So if you didn't tape it, then hold it down firmly with one hand and hinge it up with the other. So you can see, oh, I missed the tip of this little floral. It's good. Now I can pull it up because it's good. Okay. Easy breezy lemon squeezy. I got to find a place for that that's not going to get something dirty. Hold on, girls. I'm going to put this right back on there because I can clean that cover if any wet paint gets on there. Okay. Oh gosh, isn't that pretty? Do you love this? I'm loving this. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So I use the same two colors of paint. You can vary it up. You can do whatever you want, but I use the same two colors, the same brown, the same white. Now what I want to do, I'm going to put that in the garbage so I don't get any on me. I can cover this up for now so I don't get any on me. Have you seen the transfers? There's another new set that have come out, but there's two sets of transfers. And I did open these because when you look at the packaging, it shows you get two sheets, one sheet, two sheets. And it shows you some ways that you can combine them with some of your stencils to create pretty things. But as I was looking at these, very noticeably to me, the second sheet is much bigger than the first sheet. The florals are much bigger on the second sheet. They're much bigger. Like even these little corner florals, they're bigger. Let's see, because now I'm curious. Like from end to end, that's about 6.5 inches. And this one from end to end is about 5 inches. So you're getting, I know that the designs, like this is the same design here and here, but one of them is, whoops, something was gonna fall. One of them is big and one of them is small. So what's nice about that is depending on the scale of your project, you use the one that you need, right? What I wanna do is I'm gonna create a bow up here, but I thought it would be really pretty to include one of these. And I don't want, I don't know why, but I figured I just don't want it on the painted surface. So we're gonna do something a little different here. I'm gonna just clean something up. I think this is just powder, but I just wanna, yeah, I think it's just powder that's clean that up so the contrast is a little better. I think I brushed with my hand and the powder from the sanding got on that brown part. And I need a little water to loosen it or get it up. There it is. Now that's much brighter. Just it needed a good dusting, girlfriends. There we go. Now it looks brighter. Now we have more contrast. Okay, I want to use the floral. However, I have grabbed, because I need to make a hanger for this. So I grabbed a bunch of different natural, lacy, very soft ribbons that I'm going to use here on the tag to create a hanger that's pretty and frilly. And I thought, wouldn't it be really nice if I can incorporate one of these? So I really like this one right here. I just want a flower head. I'm not going to use anything with stems. I'm just going to use a flower head, and I just need to decide what would be the right one. So I'm trying to decide. I think I need a smaller one, and I really like this one right here. So the way these transfers work, there's 3 layers. You got the front layer that's like a clear protective film, and that is the layer that your design actually sticks to on that side. Then you have this clear backing, and the clear backing, you're gonna put it back on its clear backing. This part right here, the back of the design, is very sticky, so don't touch it, because whatever it sticks to, it's gonna stay on, okay? So what I like to do, I want this flower that's right in the middle, I think. One of these two, I'm thinking. So what I like to do is I like to cut into the paper until I get to that point. Now you can cut every single individual piece out. I don't normally do that. I normally, like a little, it's like a puzzle, like a game, like a board game. I gotta make my way over to this flower. I just want this flower, and I don't like having a million little pieces. I would rather it stay one big sheet so I can look at it all at once instead of shuffling through them like they're a deck of cards. But it's your personal preference. If you would rather have them all individual little pieces, then that's what you should do. But I'm just gonna cut that out because I think that's the one I wanna use. I like this one too, and I'm not sure, we may go back to this. Now I can slide this back into my packaging if that's how I wanna store it. And that's how I choose to store mine. But like I said, you can cut them all into individual little pieces if you wanted to, and then store them like in a little folder or something. So anyway, I think I want this, and I think I want it up here, but I'm not going to attach it to this. I want it almost to be like a dangly, like it's going to either be in the center of my, I'm gonna make a bow for up here. So it's either gonna be the center, or I'm gonna somehow hang it from there. So I need something to put it on. And I was thinking, I could put it on watercolor paper, and that's what I most often use because I love mixed media. But watercolor paper, I don't have any smooth stock watercolor paper. All of the paper that I have has ridges in it, and because that's what I prefer for my watercolor paper. But then the dilemma was pressing this onto a substrate, is what you would call it. The surface that I would be pressing it onto, it would have ridges to it. And for this project, I don't want the ridges. So I went to my mailings and I grabbed this envelope. This is a cardstock envelope, and I keep this stuff a lot, you guys, because it's just really good for using when you need something thick and smooth. So I'm gonna cut a little piece of this out, and we're gonna use it. Now this would have been garbage anyway, right? It would have been garbage. Most people would just throw this out. My husband's like, seriously, you're gonna keep that? Heck yeah, I'm gonna keep it. I need it for my art. So now I have 2 choices. I can put this on the white side, or I can put it on the craft side, the brown side. I'm gonna put it on the white side, and I'll show you how these work, because I want to use this in my project. So we'll put the board aside for a minute. Oh, Jody says I need to use these rub-ons. Yes, you need to try them. They're so brilliant, so easy, and the color and the detail is just gorgeous. Gorgeous, my friend. And you get so many. You get these 2 big sheets, you get so many of them. Jill says, I'm a visual person too. Hey, Donna, thanks for the stars. Thank you for giving Essential Stencil some stars. What color is what? Maggie's saying, what color is that, Grace? What color is what, honey? Tell me what you're asking. Non-crafters don't understand, Patty says. We need to keep the things that other people don't keep. It's just part of who I am. You're so right about that, Patty. You can seal it, Sandy, if you want to. I don't. I haven't been. I guess it depends on your application. Okay, I have one of these opened already. Every time you get a set of transfers, you get an applicator. I have plenty of them, but I already have one open, so there's no need to open another one. So you get this little applicator tool. It's for transferring it, because you're transferring it from this film. You're transferring it, it's like a big sticker, onto whatever you want. And I've done it on my wax candles. I've done it on fabric. In fact, This is one of the fall transfers that I did on a little fabric banner back in the fall. So that's a transfer that Essential Stencil sells. And I did that one on fabric. You can do it on just about anything, girls. You can do it on plastic, you can do it on metal, you can do it on so many things. So I'm gonna do this on here. So 3 parts. The backing, that will get thrown out. I don't need it, again, once I apply this. Then you have the sticker itself, which you're seeing the back of right now, and the clear film that I'm using to hold it. Now, I cut enough around my flower that I can hold it by the clear film. If you touch the flower itself, it just about will stick to anything that touches it. So you don't want to just put it on your table because it'll stick to the table. If you got to put it down because you changed your mind and you're not ready yet, put it back on its backing. You're going to put it down on whatever your surface is, your substrate. I'm going to put it down. And if I just push lightly, it's like a sticker. If I just push lightly, it's going to stick. But now look, I haven't quite released it from the film. So it's really hard for me to pull that film off because I haven't quite released it from the film. That's where this tool comes in. The tool, you rub between the film and your substrate, your surface, and it will release that sticker onto your substrate. So the tool helps to release it. So you need the tool to rub, this is why they're called rub-ons, to rub it onto your paper, your envelope, your candle, your fabric, canvas tote bag, like your shirt, like whatever. Now listen, you're not gonna be able to wash anything. So if you did a shirt with this, you're not gonna be able to wash it. You could do it on an apron maybe that you don't wash as often. But no, you don't want to do like your tea towels or your pillowcase with these because you can't wash it. It's going to be permanent on there and not washable. But like that little canvas pennant banner that I did, I'm never going to wash that, so it's okay to go on there. So I pushed strongly. You can hardly see the clear film, but it's still there. We did it on white, so you can hardly see it, but the clear film is still there. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to try to peel this back. And now if I pushed well enough, it will all stay. Now I transferred it onto my little mailer envelope, and here's that clear film, and these can just go in the garbage. So these are not reusable. They're a one-time use, so you will go through them. So if you think you're going to use them a lot, like if you wanted to make for Mother's Day, for example, if you bought a bunch of those, I use the wax candles that are battery operated with a flickering flame. I love them. They're all over my house. And in the fall, when these first came out, I did a demonstration doing it on those. That would be a great Mother's Day gift. To get a set of 3 of those and to create with them, with the transfers, however you want, and then to repackage them in a basket or something and give them to, mom or, maybe the daycare provider, whoever you're going to give a Mother's Day gift to. That would be such a beautiful gift. Hello, Marcia in Volcano, California. Tracy said, I need to get more. Go jump and grab them before they sell out. Use my code, THECOMFYNEST, so you get your discount. Okay. Look at how beautiful that is, you guys. It's beautiful. I'm going to fussy cut this out of here. I could cut it in a circle, but that's not what I'm going to do. It's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to fussy cut it, which means I'm going to cut it to its actual shape. So I'm getting one of my sharpest scissors with a small blade to get into all of these fine little nooks and crannies. This is a paper crafter's kind of technique. Any of you paper crafters? This is kind of a paper crafter deal. Or mixed media. If you're a mixed media artist or you like to do mixed media art, we do this kind of often. Now I feel like I need my readers, girlfriends. I cannot see so good. Listen, there's 2 things going on with my vision as I get older. I can't see the close-up things, and the other thing is I can't read in the dark, or I can't see. It has to be like a spotlight on what I'm doing, or I can't see it. And I don't know what the deal is with that, but that's the truth of the matter. So I shut the light. I do shut the lights down in here. I usually have this lamp right next to me on so I can see really well what I'm doing with detail work. I shut it off because it reacts to the camera and it makes it very bright for you. But now I can't see so good, my friends. So I'm cutting around all the gorgeous detail of this floral, and every once in a while I like to just cut. I don't need to have all that hanging around while I'm trying to cut through it. No, I missed a big spot right there, but that's okay. So this whole, I just got to finish right there where that white is, but I'm just cutting around so that it really looks real life, and it has so much detail that it's so beautiful, you guys. It takes a little bit of effort, but it's not hard. This is a great thing to do while you're watching TV. This is the kind of detail work that you do I used to do it when my kids were in Taekwondo, and they would be in 2 different classes, but one right after the other. And I'd sit at Taekwondo classes in the, in the parent section, and I would sew handmade flowers, or one time I was making little mice. I was hand sewing felt mice. But we call this fussy cutting. So all your fussy cutting, you could do that inside while you're waiting for all the children to finish the things that they're doing, whether they're at cheerleading or hockey or baseball, basketball, whatever they're doing. You can sit there and do all your little fussy cutting work. Okay, I would love to use this up here somehow, but first we're gonna get the ribbons, because we're gonna combine some pretty ribbons. Whoa! I've got some vintage lace that I got at the thrift store for 75 cents. How much of a score was that? I've got some burlappy colors because it's very natural, so I think the burlaps would look really nice with this. And I've got some of my new favorite, the chiffons, and these are in really pretty pinks that match the floral. So I think that we have a good combination going here. I haven't even used this one, but I do like it. I think this could be my hanger. It's wired. Why is everybody saying text BFF, Patty? That's hilarious. Text BFF. So if you, all the folks who follow me over at the Comfy Nest with Grace, that's my texting service. I sent them out a text saying, hey, I'm going live for Essential Stencil. Come join me over there and give me a text BFF shout out. So those are all the crafty chicks from the Comfy Nest. So thank you to all my loyal, wonderful, beautiful text BFFs. The reason I call it text BFFs, my texting service, the number's right behind me. It's a two-way system. It's a system you don't have to pay anything but your texting rates, but I pay for the service, and what it allows me to do is send one text alert out saying I'm going live, or here's the special offer this week, or here's some, the scene in my front yard this morning because we got a ton of snow. Like, I do a little bit of everything. I send them text alerts, but then you guys can text me back, which I love because it's two-way, meaning if you have a question about something you ordered, or did you get my registration for that, my enrollment for that, then I can text you back and answer you, and I just love it. So that's what text BFF means. I call them my text BFFs because I actually text some of my crafty chicks more than I text my my family out east. Okay, this is going to be beautiful right here. I'm loving this. I'm going to cut a big piece of this. It is wired, but I'm loving these tags because they have nice wide holes. So this really thick. How thick is this? Is it 2.5 inches? Yeah, it's a 2.5 inch ribbon, and you can get it in there so easily because those holes on these tags are so thick. I love that. I love that. Okay, I gotta move this closer to me, friends, so I can do all the work over here. I can't reach, my arms aren't reaching that much. Now, I don't know that I actually want to tie that. I might do something different up here, and instead of tying it in a knot, I may use some of the chiffon or something to just hold it together like that, because I don't think I want to tie that in a knot. But that's the base of this, and then I think I'll use a chunk of this in the ribbon itself. We're going to make a little a bow, I'm going to put a little bow right here. And so I'm going to use a couple of pieces of this. I'm going to use a little bit of my, I've been using a lot of this stuff lately, you guys. Isn't it so pretty, Dana? I'm going to use a little bit of the lace, and it's white, so it matches my white paint. Let's grab a couple of pieces of lace. This one is a solid, this is Dollar Tree, solid burlap, but it also has wire on it, and it would be a good contrast to the wired ribbon that it's burlap color, but it looks like a net. I don't know what else to call it. It's that open weave. So if we take these 3, and then we'll work in some chiffon too. But let's take these 3 and start. Like, I think I actually, I play with placement because the bow will take on a very different look depending on where you place things. Like if I do that, then this is going to get obscured a little bit. So I might want this one in the back, even though it's skinnier, and then put this one up front, or yeah, put this one next. And I just crisscross them. And then we'll put this one next. Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit of all those textures and colors and the feeling of them, because they do have different feels. Now, I have white chiffon that I could layer in there. Let's get a couple of little pieces of this. I'm gonna put this, I don't want this in front of the lace. I think I'm gonna put it back here. And actually, come on, work with me, baby. I think I'm gonna do it this way. You can, I see people put them in, you know, they have two of each kind, and then they put them in a really random assortment of order. There's no pattern to it. I usually do a pattern of order, like these two, then that pattern, then that pattern. But I do like to mix it up too, because when you scrunch this up and it's sitting on your project, all of these different textures and colors are gonna pop out of here. Remember, I have this that I wanna put in the center. So I'm gonna grab, if I look at my ribbons, I actually think I like this one the most with it. I think I like this one the most. So let's grab a little bit of this one right here. And I'm gonna make these ones a little bit longer and put them behind here. Because those are, the chiffon is very, very floppy. It's not gonna keep position, it's not gonna keep its shape like the wired ribbons are. So it's gonna flop in between all these layers. Now, I haven't quite decided. I'm not gonna glue this in the middle. That's not my intent. I was thinking I would dangle it down. So I'm gonna get a little piece of jute rope because it's gonna match my burlaps. So I'm telling you all my decision making here so that you understand and you know where I'm coming from with the reasons why I do what I do. You don't have to copy me exactly, or you can. It doesn't matter to me. I'm flattered if you do. Or you can take some of the ideas that I use and create your own method of doing this. But if I dangle this down, kind of hanging down, punch a hole in it and dangle it down, that was my original intent. I can dangle it with the jute, and then I can use the jute to hold this together. So what I do, I think of it like a bow tie. From the center here, I scrunch it all together like this, okay? And then I flip it because I want the tie to be in the back. So I'm gonna flip it and put my big jute rope right here. And I'm gonna try to tie it while I'm kind of holding it scrunched up like that. I want it really tight and scrunched in the middle. I wanna see that scrunching, right? And you wanna see that from both sides. So I'm gonna tie that nice and tight. Now, I usually make this piece of string or ribbon or whatever you use, yarn, rope, whatever you use. I usually make it a little longer because I like to make that part of the tail so it hangs down below. You can do it however you want. You can hide it if you want. Let me turn on my hot glue gun because I'm gonna be gluing this on here. Now, I use my tail to hold the back, kind of like a bouquet, like a flower bouquet that you're holding. I hold the back. And now from here, looking at it from the way you are, then you can reposition things. Like, I really want this stuff to show, and it's wired. So if I pull on it, I can make it kind of appear. If I pull on this from the center, it's gonna stay, but I can pull on these edges and kind of make it pop out so that you can see that. Now these are gonna just naturally dangle down low because the chiffon is really soft. It has there's no stiffness to it. But my lace is very stiff, so it's just popping out there. So this is where you play and you start pulling on your wired ribbons and letting things hang and fall the way you want them. Right here, I have a little bit of shredding happening, so you can cut things down if you need to. If something's too long, too small, but this is gonna go here. But I don't wanna cover my words. So here is where my hanger is. I think I'm gonna have to put this a little bit higher. I like these tendrils hanging down. That's just my taste. Sometimes though I cut them off. It just depends on the project. I'm gonna hang them down for now, look at it in its entirety and decide. But now we have this. And this is what I was thinking would be really fun to work in here somewhere. I don't want to just glue it there. I don't like that. My idea, and let's just see, where is my hole puncher? Did I grab it? Did I grab it? I thought I did. Oh yeah, it's right here. I'm gonna grab my little hole puncher. It's a big hole puncher. Who am I kidding? You can use any hole puncher that you have. I'm gonna, if I hang it like right there, then let's do a hole right here. I'm gonna try to work this in, and maybe I can work it in with one of these tendrils, using one of these. Because remember, those are attached. So if I attach this here, yeah, this will work. If I tie it in right here, and actually, okay, I'm gonna start to tie it, because I want it high though. I don't want it that low. So I'm gonna get the tie part ready, and then I'm gonna slip it up the rope, because I want it way up here. I don't want it down really low. We're gonna tentatively tie it, and then I can make any adjustments I need to. Like if it's kind of dangling there, and if I glue this right here, right above the hole, is that high enough? I don't like it. You know what? I don't like it coming from the back is what the issue is. So this is where it's fun. This is where you just start playing, girls and guys and girls. You just play with your supplies. Let's get another piece of jute. I'm going to tie it from the front. I don't like it down there, so I'm going to try to work this jute into my bow. I'm stringing it through that middle section. I just strung it through. I just picked that up and strung it through. It's not tied so tight that I can't do that. And then let's do this. I know I want it on here because it's such a beautiful pop of color, but I don't want it on the project, and I don't want it in the middle of the bow. So I'm going to dangle it down a little bit. And again, I did not knot that. I'm going to tentatively tie it so I can make any adjustments needed. Let's glue this in place, because then I want to make sure I'm not covering my butt first. My words there. I'm going to turn it around, folks, so I can see what I'm doing here. Yes, 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 yes. And I can cut off any of the, in fact, if I tie this to the back, and then if I tie it, so go from the front to the back so that the tie is in the back, then I can cut, after I tie it, I can cut off the excess. So here's what I'm going to do. Tie it from the back so that the knot is in the back. I'm pulling I want it to dangle just a little bit. Just a little bit, like that. Yep, I want it to have a little movement. And if you don't glue anything into place, you can always put this together and make changes as you see fit. But I'm going to cut off the tails of that, because I don't want those interfering with my little flower. I want the flower to be the star of this show. Yeah, like that. So now it looks like a little dangly on there. I didn't want it right in the middle. I kind of want it hanging down. I don't know why. That was just my choice. Now this is going to go here, and then again, like I said before, you can adjust your ribbons back there any way you want. I'm going to cut the danglies. I'm not liking them. I usually love them, these tails, but I'm going to cut them off because it's just more competition for the star of the show, which is the floral and the bow. Okay, we're going to glue this on here. So if my glue gun's ready, I'm going to put a whole lot of glue there. And I'm going to glue this down, and then we're going to finish with the top of this. I'll show you. Deborah, you're funny. Chrissy says, another awesome idea. Fun, 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 Connie says. Yeah, because this is going to give us some movement when it's hanging. Oh my gosh, you guys, talk about so feminine and pretty. It's an envelope from the mail that would have gotten thrown out that we did that on. No fancy paper there. Now, what I was thinking is, I don't want to, this is so thick, it's 2.5 inches thick, and I don't want to tie it like I normally would. So I think what I'm going to do is just I'll take this scrap jute rope, and I'm just going to, I guess I'll do it in the back. I'm going to cinch that up and just tie it with a piece of jute rope in the back. So it's going to look scruffy up top and a little like messy, this part of it, but I'm okay with that so that I don't have to knot it. I cinched it with another piece of jute. It blends right in to the hanger. And now I have that. And if you wanted to, like all of this crazy stuff up here, you could cut it off. I mean, it's tied down here with the jute. So you could cut that off, but I kind of like it. I like that it's kind of wild and scruffy. And that would be your hanger, where you would hang it from. You guys, are you kidding me with how pretty that is? But first, pray. Goodness. Look at all that texture. So the tag and the stencil are really like the base of this project. They really are. And then their co-partner is the bow. That's how I look at it. Their co-star is the bow. But the stencil is the start of it. But first, pray. And I just did the two colors of paint. That's it, white and brown on the tag. Then the bow adds this level of dimension and softness and movement. Like this is moving a little. Every time, you know, you open and close your front door, you're going to get a little bit of movement there. And the chiffon moves a lot. You can just see it. You're going to see it like it's so floppy and pretty. It just has a different texture and a different level of dimension than the wired ribbons add. I hope you guys like it. I hope you like it. I hope you like it. Okay, we got some winners. Let me announce the winners and tell you guys, make sure that you're here every day for the live demonstrations where they're giving away stencils every day. And if you're a replay watcher, let us know you're catching the replay, because replay watchers win too. Let's see who won today. We've got Joyce Quintero Resto. So Joyce Resto, Lynn Weishadel, I hope I said it right, Lynn, and Donna Mason. So it's Donna Trubio Mason. Donna, Lynn, and Joyce, you just want a set of stencils during this live. So thank you for being here, everybody. Those winners, check the pinned post in this video or in this live, because the email is there where you need to contact them with your mailing address so they can send you the stencils. And I'd be honored if you come on over to the Comfy Nest with Grace and follow and like my page. Also use my code PLEASE. When you're shopping and buying your supplies, you benefit with a discount. I also benefit too. So thank you for doing that. You guys have a beautiful, blessed day. Go make something pretty that brings your heart joy, and just enjoy the whole process of it. I'll see you next time. Bye.